Hello everyone, my name is Jonathan Leitonen, and I'm the Instruction and Reference Specialist at the Montgomery Library here at Campbellsville University. Today, I'm here to help you learn how to avoid 7 common types of plagiarism and thus get the most benefit out of your writing assignments. Let's start with some basic assumptions about writing in the English-speaking academic world. When you write something without using quotation marks, you are signaling to your readers that the sentence structure is your own original work. Similarly, when you write something without citing any sources, you are telling your readers that the ideas are either your own original thoughts or common knowledge. Common knowledge refers to information that scholars in your academic field already have memorized, or that they could look up in an encyclopedia, so it typically does not need to be cited. However, if you start mixing in someone else's ideas that are not common knowledge, then you are required to cite your source, and if you copy phrases of more than about 4 words, then you are required to both cite your source and put quotation marks around the quoted text. This is because your readers need to be able to tell which ideas and phrases are borrowed and which ones are your original work. But if you forget to use citations and quotation marks to clarify where these ideas and words came from, then you are committing plagiarism. The Random House Dictionary of the English Language sums it up pretty well, defining plagiarism as the unauthorized use or close imitation of the language and thoughts of another author, and the representation of them as one's own original work. Okay, so let's go over 7 types of plagiarism so you can be confident you know how to avoid them. Type 1. Grammarly plagiarism, which I like to call the Grammarly fail. So have you ever seen the advertisements for Grammarly? But did you know that using those fancy revision tools for an academic assignment is usually considered plagiarism? This is because Grammarly and other grammar checkers now use generative artificial intelligence, also known as Gen AI, which can completely rewrite and lengthen all the sentences in a student's paper. When that happens, Grammarly's revised version is definitely not the work of the student anymore. If you are an employee at an organization and your supervisor allows the use of AI for writing, then that's different. But academic writing as a student is intended to be a process of discovery and playing around with words to clarify your meaning, which takes time and effort. But this is what your professors want you to do, to help engage with your course content and become a better writer at the same time. You gotta remember, Grammarly is a business. Just like YouTube or TikTok, it is trying to hook you in and trying to get you addicted. The advertising I see for AI tools is clearly designed to hurt your confidence in yourself and make your thinking dependent on a technology corporation. But think of all the accomplishments you've made in your life without AI. Look, you can do this. You don't need AI to become a better writer. However, students can use AI grammar checkers to fix minor grammar issues, but you must be very careful when a grammar checker suggests completely restructured sentences, because then the grammar checking is doing way too much of the hard work that your professor wants you to do yourself. Next, type 2, copy and paste plagiarism. This should be pretty obvious. Whether the text comes from ChatGPT, Google Gemini, or just any random website or book, you are not permitted to copy text directly into your assignments without using quotation marks and a citation. Next, type 3, Google Translate plagiarism. In my own career teaching academic writing in the past, sometimes I found that students first wrote their papers in their native languages and then used Google Translate to convert them into English. But this also is plagiarism because the wording in English was created by Google Translate and it is not the original work of the student. Translators can be used for individual words or very short phrases, but not for entire sentences. Okay, the 4th type of plagiarism. Including a citation, but forgetting quotation marks. When I taught academic writing, sometimes I found my students copied from sources without using quotation marks, even though they actually did cite the authors. Why is this still plagiarism? Because the student didn't do the hard work of creating those sentences in the first place. As mentioned before, copied phrases of more than about 4 words almost always have to go inside quotation marks. Next, type 5, paraphrasing without a citation. Sometimes students start paraphrasing a source in their own words, but forget to mention the source within that same paragraph. Then they move on. This is considered plagiarism because the idea still came from another author. The only exception is common knowledge, which, as I mentioned before, the readers probably already know. However, it can be hard to know if something is common knowledge or not, so it is better to be safe than sorry. Just include the citation. There is no harm in including too many in-text citations in a paper. Your instructor will appreciate it too. And here's a related tip. I know AI programs like ChatGPT can help you learn new concepts and brainstorm for a paper, so if you get a useful idea from AI, then I recommend using library databases to find peer-reviewed scholarly sources that explain those concepts further, and then cite those peer-reviewed sources in your paper. Peer-reviewed sources are also way more reliable and authoritative, whereas AI programs do make factual errors fairly often. It also may be helpful to ask AI to create Boolean searches about your research topic. Then you can put those Boolean search phrases into a library database to find reliable scholarly sources. Now, on to type 6, Patchwriting plagiarism. Patchwriting is a mixture of copied phrases and new words added by the student. It typically happens when students copy and paste a passage and then delete or replace some of the words. If you highlight the copied phrases in red, it looks like a bunch of red patches in the paragraph. Even if you include a citation, patchwriting is still plagiarism because it is a failed paraphrase. When a significant portion of your text matches the source text, you cannot claim credit for it as your own original work. To avoid patchwriting, here are 4 steps for appropriate paraphrasing. First, reread the source several times so that you memorize the main points. Second, put the source away and write your own sentences based on what you remember. Third, compare what you wrote with the source passage and rewrite any phrases that seem too similar to the original. Fourth, make sure the facts agree and that you did not misrepresent the original information. Lastly, type 7, self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism refers to reusing work for multiple classes. Your instructors want every assignment to challenge you and help you learn something new, so don't reuse material from class to class. However, if you think you have a good reason to reuse something for a new project, first talk to your instructor about it. So to conclude, any kind of plagiarism involves deception by presenting something from somewhere else as your original work. The authors typically would be offended if they found out their work was plagiarized by a student trying to get academic credit for it. But why are professors so personally concerned about plagiarism? Probably the top reason is that they created their assignments to stretch your thinking and to open your mind to new possibilities. But plagiarism totally disrupts this learning process. On the other hand, when you spend long hours doing your own research, writing, and revision, you engage with your course content on a much deeper level, and you become a better writer too. And if you have any questions about AI, plagiarism, and related topics, feel free to talk to your professors or other university staff about it. Academic writing is always evolving, so open discussion is the best way to move forward and ensure a fair teaching and learning environment for everyone. Thanks for watching.